This is the heartland of A Christmas Carol. This is where we start. This is where we have Scrooge's counting house. It's based in the alleyways at the heart of the City of London.
If you want to see London through the eyes of Charles Dickens,
you could have gangs waiting in the alleyways.
Tour guide Richard Jones is your man.
It's a foggy Christmas Eve, and gas lamps are lighting up. You can imagine the people coming out of doors and they're coughing and they're wheezing and they're rubbing their hands together, stamping their feet, desperate to keep warm. And this is where it all begins.
You're transporting me right now. And any talk of Dickens in December conjures only one thing: A Christmas Carol.
No Christmas was complete without somebody in the family taking out a copy of A Christmas Carol and reading it to the household.
A Christmas Carol, published as a novella in 1843, tells the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, a miserly and miserable old businessman who on Christmas Eve is haunted by three ghosts.
Evil spirit, I'm not the man I was. Believe me, I'm not the man I was.
Ultimately deciding to mend his ways and spread cheer all around him.
Uncle Scrooge!
In an ending sweeter than a figgy pudding. But you already knew that. What you may not know is Dickens' personal connection to the story. Had Dickens himself been poor?
Dickens in his childhood had faced great hardship. His father was riddled with debt trouble.
Louisa Price is the head curator of the Charles Dickens Museum.
And at one point his father was thrown into jail for debt. And at that time, as a young boy, only 12 years old, he had to work in a blacking factory to make ends meet and to support his family.
Price says those early experiences influenced much of Dickens' work. With A Christmas Carol, he wanted to address serious social ills that continued to plague the poor in Victorian England.
And he decided that he was going to write a political pamphlet. However, a few days later, he wrote to a friend and said, I'm not going to do the political pamphlet. I'm going to put out something at Christmas time, and that's going to have 20 times the force. So this is the drawing room.
The museum is in the London house, where Dickens, already established, once lived with his family. Did the family celebrate Christmas in this room?
Yes, so over the Christmas period, Dickens would have invited his extended family to come and celebrate the season here in this house.
The Dickens' own Yuletide traditions show up in the story and would influence the way readers celebrated Christmas.
There are records of various people in London who decided after reading A Christmas Carol that they were going to go out and buy a turkey and make sure that that was part of their Christmas meal.
In the 172 years since it was first published, A Christmas Carol has never been out of print. It's been adapted into stage productions and into at least 50 movie and television versions. It may surprise you which one our experts think is the most faithful.
I think that you probably can't go wrong with A Muppet's Christmas Carol.
I think the Muppets one, if not the best version, it's certainly up there with the best versions because it gets the meaning.
Bless us all who gather here, the lovely family I hold dear.
Christmas is not about you, it's about other people. And I think the Muppets do get that, and it's such a warm version.
I will hold you close in a thankful heart.
For many, it seems that the story of A Christmas Carol has become the meaning of Christmas.
It has for many people. Christmas Carol is an integral part of Christmas and has been since it was written in 1843. The interesting thing is I often refer to it as being the second most famous Christmas story ever told.
The first being, well, you know.
It's almost like a Christmas present in its own right, and it's Dickens' present to the world.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.